I'm not going to do it. Everybody's doing it. I'm not doing it. Hey, so welcome to Kenobi Talks, where we talk about Kenobi. It's as simple as that. With me, I have Thomas Cully and Caleb Cojo. Uh,
Hello,
guys, yeah, he did it. Of course, he did it. Guys, I have never done like a show like this, but I was like, you know what? If I am going to start, I Kenobi is the best way to do it. And since Alex promised somebody that he won't be starting new shows anymore, he told me that. But you know who really liked the episodes? Thomas Cully and Caleb Cojo. You should probably ask them. And I did. So, Thomas, Caleb, how are you guys doing?
I'm great. I'm great. This is like these two episodes were like exactly I think what the world needed, especially
Yeah.
Star Wars fans. Just to cap off like a great week of like remembering 45 years since A New Hope, and now we get to kind of go back to that time period a little bit with Kenobi.
Yeah, this is. I feel great. This is exactly what I wanted. This was more than I knew I wanted. Which is like super. That feels so good to like have the prequels represented again and like embraced by Star Wars media. Like even as much as like I don't think any of us really like episodes 1 and 2. I love episode 3. So like to have this basically be like a perfect sequel to that is like amazing. I'm so excited about the show.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Let's just do a little like make a little time while people get here. It's an interesting point that a lot of people are making now that the prequel haters are usually the people that really like are original trilogy like diehards, and those people are old now usually, like for the most part. So I mean, I know people of my age that are like original trilogy diehards, but I think people like us that grew up with the prequels, even if they are not my favorites, but I think the people that grew up with the prequels, we can appreciate them, and now we like have a voice.
And they're different. Like I think the biggest thing is that the prequels, while they may not be as well refined or as good in quality as the original trilogy, which is like one of the greatest trilogies of all time, it's different. It's a different side of that whole Star Wars universe. And of course, the loudest voices in the room are the diehards, but like the majority of people are people like, my parents who were kids when the originals came out.
Yeah.
And their view on the prequels is like, there's some good stuff here. Revenge of the Sith is cool. Honestly, I just don't care unless it's an original trilogy character, which,
it's fair.
It's understandable.
You mean more people? I don't know. I advertised it. I don't know who is going to show up. I put it in 3 Facebook.
I can't tell if Alex is trying to make a Rise of Skywalker reference.
Yeah.
Or if,
or a Hamilton reference.
All right.
I think it's that.
I make a point of not getting Rise of Skywalker references.
Me too.
I'm sort of cursed with that knowledge at this point, so.
Yeah,
that's valid.
All right, so let's start with deciding, because we haven't talked about this, guys. We are doing this kind of on the fly. How we are going to do this? Are we going to review the episodes one at a time, or are we going to do this like a big episode?
I think one at a time was fine.
Yeah. We just focus on one at a time. Because this is the only time where we have 2 episodes to review in one. Which like bless the people at Lucasfilms for making the decision to give us 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm dropping it at like midnight on Thursday instead of 3 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah, brilliant decisions being made all the way around.
Yeah. So I think the first thing I want to is like Kenobi himself looks exactly how I would have imagined him to look on Tatooine, and I think that's one of the biggest things they did right, because getting Kenobi right in the Kenobi show seems very important.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably.
Yeah, I think his like appearance, everything, it just looks like Ewan McGregor, 10 years on from where
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. I mean, technically, it's almost 20 years on in real life, but to make it 10 years, I think he like has aged so well that it's like he has the beard and everything, and he looks like he hasn't really aged a day, which is kind of funny. But like they like grade his beard enough where you're like, okay, it's been 10 years. Like he looks very much like he's in the middle of becoming the Alec Guinness version. That we will see in Rebels in like 2 years within the timeline or something.
I think it's
I think it's 8.
8 years
beyond this point.
Rebels starts, because Rebels starts 4 years after this show. I think it's
and
4
then Kenobi comes in 2
season.
years after. Yeah, it's season 2
years
3.
before the Battle of Yavin.
Season 3, right?
Yeah, so like I saw the timeline, and this show takes place 9 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Yep.
And Kenobi and Rebels is 7 years. It's 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. So there's a 7 year gap between this.
There is like
all right, so in 7 years he's going to become Alec Guinness, and that is believable to me. I'll be honest.
And we'll find out probably why in the next 4 episodes.
Especially with how stressed the man looks. Like,
oh, dude, man's mad stressed in this show.
Like
you can just see it. Like I think one of the things they do best in episode 1. They kind of show why he's so tired and just he looks so defeated. Like, and you see like his dreams about Anakin and things like that, trying to connect with Qui-Gon and he can't. But the only little bit of happiness he has in that episode is seeing Luke kind of on top of his little homestead, kind of acting like Anakin. You can see that little smile on his face.
And giving him the toy that he has in Star Wars. The first one.
Which, by the way, he has to get it back at some point.
And we see that in the trailer, that he flies at some point.
I mean, like, because Owen throws him back into his face. So, like, I mean, by the way, that was a heartbreaking moment, for me at least, when Obi-Wan just said, like, but it's just a toy. Come on. It's like, just, I don't know. It's just, okay, well,
it's
because I don't know. I think seeing Obi-Wan sad, it makes me feel bad at this point. I think I have a connection with the character, even if I know that he's going to kind of like be happy eventually in death, I guess. But still, it's one of the things that every time he has to make a decision, you can see in his face that he's struggling, and that's Ewan McGregor's acting. So,
and he's kind of just like lost confidence in himself and his ability to use the Force, connect with people, just because he's cut off so much. And even the scene with Benny Safdie's character, was it like Rava or something?
I think it's Nani or something like that.
Navi.
His
character, he's like, just hide. You're drawing too much attention. Like,
bury your lightsaber in the sand is like when he says it. I was like, oh, the gut punch. I was just like, oh no.
But like you can see why he does it. Is like he's like frantically like making sure no one sees them, no one connects them to Luke, because that's his one job, is to protect Luke until he's ready.
Right, and then like just to go back to the burying of the lightsaber thing, when he gets his out. And it's his and Anakin's.
Yeah.
It's just the gut punch, the absolute heart rip. Oh man.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I like hey Javi. One of the things that I really love about Rebels and everything that basically is like set during the Galactic Civil War is the recurring theme of hopelessness, but with that little bit of hope that usually it's Luke Skywalker. Because as a big Luke Skywalker fan, that's something that I really appreciate. In Rebels, they mention how New Hope will rise at some point, that things will get better at some point. We have to keep fighting and stuff. And then in this thing, even if Obi-Wan seems like defeated, I think he still holds out the hope that his job ultimately will save the galaxy with Luke Skywalker.
And I think that's the tone I think the first episode goes for, because
Yep.
you have those scenes where it just feels hopeless for Obi-Wan, for Navi, for all these Jedi, and all these people who are just trying to, find a little bit of hope. And then what does the show show us? It shows us one half of that hope in bringing in young Leia and just
Yep.
showing her. And I like when I saw her, I'm like, this is immediately going to be a fantastic show, because like,
Oh yeah,
they perfectly capture that mixture of like Padme's sassiness with Anakin's sense of adventure.
Yeah.
And they kind of put all that into Leia, like her, climbing the tree, naming all the ships in the sky, and like you just have a smile on your face the whole time.
Yeah.
And I
And
think that's
absolutely.
a good balancing act that the first episode does.
I think that's nuts that they hid that. They managed to
I
hide that
know, right?
to the point where I started this episode and I like thought to myself, it's like, I really don't know what this show's going to be about, because I was like, everything I've seen from the trailers was in like the first 2 episodes, and they cut around it to the point where it's like, when the first episode sets up what we're doing by introducing Leia and like the bounty hunters and Bail coming to visit him, being like, which is a great scene where he's like, my duties to the boy, and he's like, your duties to just the boy? What are you talking about? Which is like that's like a great moment too,
Yeah.
where you're like, dude, fuck you. It's more than just Luke. You fucking douchebag. And like I love that is what we're doing. Is like we're protecting Leia, which is such a swerve.
Yeah.
It's such a swerve
it
from the
makes sense
expectation of just
ultimately,
being
because
protecting Luke.
we know what Luke does in the 19 years before A New Hope. He's fucking farming.
Nothing.
He's doing nothing but farming.
Doing nothing.
But we have no idea what Leia's doing. She has a whole wide
The only
galaxy
thing
at her
we-
fingertips.
The only thing we know Leia does canonically is fly on the Tantive 4 and get caught at the beginning of A New Hope.
Yep.
That's literally all we know that she does before, and that she's a senator. All we know about her going into A New Hope. So I
Actually-
love that this is about her. in a way.
After that, after the finish of the episode, I immediately ordered Leia Rebel Princess, the book, and I'm going to start reading it,
Nice.
because that's something that just seeing Leia, my appreciation of Leia's character has grown a lot, to the point that she overthrew Han Solo as my second favorite of the Golden Trio.
Uh-huh.
And I think just seeing her as a child, that honestly, I would have never imagined her as that for some reason. I would have never imagined her
Well,
like
I think that's
a rebellious
that's-
kid. I
Yeah.
would have always imagined her like somebody who is like the perfect child, so to speak.
But like that scene with like her cousin, and she's just calling him out on his bullshit. That's like, oh my god! I'm like
It's a great scene.
watching Padme
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
nuts.
think the reason why we always just wrote off that like Leia as a kid was just living a perfect life is because we know that she was a royal on
Yeah.
Alderaan with Jimmy Smits, who's like one of the best TV and movie parents of all time. So you're like, oh, her life was probably really uneventful and boring until the rebellion really broke out. And like to see this and be like, nah, she's like 10 years old and getting kidnapped by bounty hunters, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's gonna go save her, which is rad. Like, I love that, which also then is like, it almost feeds more into A New Hope in a way where it's like, that's why when she when she's like, I come help me, it's of course he's like, you know what, I helped you once, let's go do it again, we'll run it back.
Yeah.
We're gonna go fucking save your ass again. I love it.
The thing is, I don't know if I have like the wonder if he's going to reveal his name to Leia.
Probably not.
Probably
Well,
not.
I mean,
I don't
well-
think. I am going to make a wild guess and say that Leia is not going to know that Obi-Wan Kenobi was the one who helped
Right.
her.
I think that plays into when she's like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Yeah.
You served with my father during the Clone Wars.
Remember
And, like,
when
think that's-
they go to rescue her on the Death Star, she calls him Ben Kenobi as well. So
That is true.
so
That's fair.
she knows him by both names at that point.
that's fair.
Because
Um,
she called her General Kenobi and everything. So I would guess that if she knows him like as a kid, she will refer to him as Ben.
That's true.
I don't know.
But
That's
maybe
what
like
that's
by
what
the time the
Luke.
new outcome, she's not sure if he remembers her.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
So many speculations on a movie that George Lucas didn't plan anything after.
Yeah.
Like we are analyzing like dialogues of a movie that George Lucas just made, and then everything else came, and it's so.
I can only imagine being like in theaters in 1977 and hearing like Clone Wars. I'm like, the what?
The what now? Excuse me.
Excuse me?
I think the thing that blew me away is how great every performance is. Like, from people that we saw again, like, I think this is the best Jimmy Smits has been as Bail Organa, which is nuts.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
Because he's been great in every time. And I think Joel Edgerton as Owen is like, oh, yeah, I was in the first, 2 prequels, and I was like, okay. And he comes in the scene, he just hits a home run. Like, I think he's incredible in this show. Like, one of my favorite parts is just like, you trained his father, which is, like, in the trailer. But, like, that's such a great, like, fuck you, dude. I was just like, oh, shit.
Well, and even
it.
going past that, in the scene where he's being interrogated by the third sister, and he's like, the Jedi are vermin, and I kill vermin on my farm. You can just hear like the disgust in his voice, because like he's still like you can tell he blames Obi-Wan for what happened to Anakin.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that adds on to the guilt that Obi-Wan has been feeling, because that was Anakin's family too.
Right, and on top of that, though, that scene, just talk about that scene even real quick, is we know he's living through that, but that whole scene, I was, like, gripping my chair, because I was, like, was so worried for him, which is a testament to how great this show is, like, written and directed and acted, where I was, like, I know he obviously has to live, but, like, I was just sitting there, like, fucking sweating for him.
And I think, like, going, moving, like, in like, to the Inquisitors a bit, Third Sister is a great foil to both the Grand Inquisitor and is it the fifth brother? The fifth brother?
The fifth brother.
Yeah, I think
played by Han, baby. Fast and Furious. Let's go.
Is he really?
Is it great?
Yeah, that's Sun Kang. Fucking rad. It took me he walked on screen the first time and I couldn't really tell because he was under all the makeup, and I was like, and then I thought to myself, I was like, Sun Kang's in this. When is he going to show up? And I was like, oh wait, he was the fifth brother.
Yeah, but I think like that's one of my favorite parts of this new expanded universe in this time period. Is like you meet more and more Inquisitors, and each one of them has a certain personality and a certain agenda.
Yeah.
And now we meet Third Sister, and you're like, the fuck is her deal? Like, I guess she really wants Kenobi, but why does she want Kenobi?
Yeah, I mean, am I the only one that kind of caught that one of the kids that escaped the temple is the third sister?
Oh yeah.
No, right? Okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Because they did that opening and everyone was running out, and then she came back later, and I was like, oh, that's why we saw the Order 66 again. It broke my heart for no reason.
Because at first I was like,
I think Navi was one of those kids as well.
Yeah, he was. It was both of them.
At first I was like, are we going to see Obi-Wan Kenobi as a kid training in the temple? Because honestly, at first that was what I thought.
Yeah, I did not think.
I didn't know what was happening
before the clones came in. I'm like, oh, fuck. There we go.
And can we talk about seeing live action clone trooper armor that isn't CG for the first time? Because that was rad. I thought that was dope.
It looks so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Also, there is a point in Star Wars that we are going to see a child being murdered, on camera.
I mean,
it's going to happen eventually.
See, I think in light of recent events that have happened here, I think if that is anywhere, they're going to cut that out real quick.
Yeah, that is true.
But I would not be surprised if 10 years down the line, we actually see a youngling die in an Order 66 thing. At this point, Order 66 gets used a lot in everything. And I think this never irritate. I'm never mad when it happens because Order 66 is one of the most
powerful
events I've ever seen.
But I think this was a really interesting way of showing it through the eyes of some of the younglings who survived, and you see that shot of them running down the middle of the hallway, and all the lightsabers around them just slowly go off. More and more clones come in, and I think it's a perfect little quick opening.
You never want to see Order 66 again, Colton. I love it. Personally, every time it happens,
I mean, it
I
hurts
think it's
every
great.
time. It hurts every
does.
time, but
I mean, like I think at this point it's
King
been
is never
shown in
gone.
so many different perspectives. I think now it's like, all right, I think we've covered all the bases here in terms of
honestly,
I don't know. I love like even in beginning of Bad Batch when you see Kanan and
Yep.
his perspective of Order 66. Love
that's
that.
really cool. That's really cool.
Love that. And like I think those are great when Order 66 happens and you're only seeing one character that
I
matters.
think Kanan and the opening of Jedi Fallen Order,
Mhm.
both really, really well done in terms of how they
True.
portray
And,
it.
and of course the finale of the Clone Wars is maybe the coolest like
I
exploration
agree.
of
No,
Order
right.
66 ever. Like that's just awesome. So,
I kind of want to see it from the eyes of a clone now.
me too. Honestly,
I know, right?
We haven't seen that from the perspective of a clone who's
Like
going
somebody who's killing the people, not somebody who's like running away. I think that would be like cool.
really cool. I mean, I guess we kind of half got that with like Rex in them, but like none of them actually killed a Jedi.
Yeah,
because they were all going after Ahsoka, and all of them are failures. So like we've seen an attempt, but we've never actually seen a clone from his perspective do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool. Okay,
And Book
so
of Boba Fett was cool. That one was pretty
Mhm.
cool. Book of Boba Fett, the way they did Order 66, that was cool.
I haven't seen Boba Fett, so
Don't worry, it's mid.
I have only seen episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Boba Fett. So.
Yeah.
Or wait, 5, 6, and
Then
7.
you're probably fine.
That's it. Let's
Yeah.
like easy.
So you saw Mandalorian season 2.5, not
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean, I was my best friend was watching it, and I told him like, if something interesting happens, let me know. And he was like, "You probably should watch this episode." I'm like, "Okay."
That's fair. I did not care for Book of Boba Fett. I also am not a huge Mandalorian fan. So like for me, this is like that and that just comes with the fact that when The Force Awakens happened, I was like, oh, I want to know what happens in the 30 years. But all the content we're getting that's set in the 30 years, I think is so boring. I don't care about any of it. Like the stuff I want to see from the 30 years is like, I mean, you're kind of not really though. Anyway, I really want to see like what Luke and Leia and like the building of the New Republic is, but we'll never get that. So like, that's all I care about from those 30 years. Whereas to contrast that with this time period, the like 20 years in between 3 and 4, I love. I think every time we go back to that, it's always cool. Like Rebels was cool, Rogue One and Solo were both good. I liked both of them, and I love this. So like I think we've proven that like if you're gonna go fill in the gaps between trilogies at any point, I think the gap between 3 and 4 has a little bit less content in it now, and has so much room to play.
Yeah, I think the Galactic Civil War is always a fun one to revisit because everybody likes the rebels going against the Empire.
Right.
Everybody likes that concept.
So. And I think the reason why I love this one so much is like it's the practical feel of the first 3, but married with the prequels, with all the stuff I love from the prequels. So it's like, you know, all the characters I love, all the ideas and themes and like actual settings and events.
Speaking of characters that we love, we see like C-3PO for like half a second on the ride, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Right. So let's go to like a section that I just came up with because we are doing this thing. We are coming up with like sections and see which ones stick. Let's like name favorite moments, favorite scenes of the episode. Thomas, go.
Favorite scene, I think, from this episode. Honestly, I think it's for the first time we see young Leia. Just because I think that right there the music swells up. We have this massive like surge of like hope and happiness because this is like one of the most beloved characters in all of Star Wars lore. I think just seeing her for the first time, her just like her just naming all the ships with her little droid as they come across, I had a huge smile on my face the entire time. That's probably my favorite moment of the episode.
I would say mine is the Inquisitor interrogation of Owen. Like to me that was the standout thing for me. But I also like weirdly enough, I like did not expect the prequel recap montage at the start, and I fucking loved that. I'm not gonna lie, like that was so fun just to have that like really dope montage of this trilogy where, like, if you had never seen the prequels and you're like, I'm going to watch the Kenobi show, and they put that there, that montage tells you that all three of those movies are way better than they really are. Except for Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is as good as that montage makes sense to me. But the other two, it's like...
And if you notice, they, like, show maybe 2 scenes from Attack of the Clones, and that's it.
They keep Attack of the Clones very short. And I was surprised. I was surprised by how much they mention Qui-Gon and Phantom Menace, which means we're definitely getting him, right?
We're getting the voice of Liam Neeson.
We are getting at least Liam Neeson's voice. That's it
has to happen. Like all the things they were mentioning and highlighting in that montage, I was watching it and I'm like, oh, so that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, that's like when you are watching like a Netflix show that not Netflix show, that a show that airs weekly, and then in the recap you get like a bit of an episode that happened like 2 seasons ago, and you go like, oh, so something from that episode is going to come out.
Right. And that's why, like, they said Qui-Gon. I was just like, oh, he's coming. He's coming. It's going to be like the second to last episode that Liam Neeson's voice is going to be here. Part of me thinks it might even be a Force Ghost.
No, it will be a Force Ghost because it's established that Qui-Gon
did not get
didn't get the full body. He just got like the spiritual voice.
Yeah.
What I would love is for Qui-Gon to talk to Anakin at some point. That's what I would love.
Oh yeah,
and that'd be cool.
If you make him happen Force Ghost, you are pissing off a lot of nerds. Like a lot of nerds.
Which honestly, like, cool. Let them
let them cry. It's cool. It's just cool. Let him be a Force Ghost. Because here's the thing: if any Jedi would have been able to like break the rules to figure it out, Qui-Gon fucking Jinn is like the guy who would break the rules and make it happen. I'm just saying, he would be the one that would like break all laws of Force physics to benefit him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it would make sense.
I think my favorite scene of the episode, it's not a scene, it's like a montage. I think Obi-Wan's routine the first time, because honestly, as the show was announced, I was like, please, you have to give me one day of Obi-Wan's life when nothing happens. Just one day of Obi-Wan's life, of him going to whatever thing he's doing, using public transportation, maybe watching Luke, and they gave me exactly that, almost in the same order.
The best part is we got a Gonk droid too. We see a Gonk droid not once.
And the Jawas. Yo, the Jawa scene was rad. It was so good.
Oh,
where you're just like, if you're gonna steal parts from my ship and sell them back to me, at least have the courtesy of cleaning it first.
Cleaning costs extra.
That was so good. I love that. I love that the Jawas know who he is and like where he is and all that. Where they're like,
they don't know he's a Jedi,
right? But they still know like Ben Kenobi. Like they know where to find Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
Oh, can we say that him keeping the Kenobi is stupid?
Little dumb.
Okay, yeah,
little bit dumb.
How many other Kenobis are there in this galaxy?
Yeah. Like,
and on the planet Tatooine. How long's Ben Kenobi been on Tatooine? Oh, 10 years. That's kind of interesting.
Well, hey, it fooled Luke, so.
That, yeah.
But Luke's a fucking moron. Luke in the first movie is like genuinely stupid.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do you think they mean Ben Kenobi? At least he goes like, is he related to you? At least he got that much. Like,
it's the Joker in Lego Batman where he's like, so Batman is Bruce Wayne's roommate. It's like he's almost there. You're almost there.
Okay. I have another section that we are going to do every episode, and it is like non-negotiable.
Okay.
Koho. Is Hondo Onaka in this episode?
No.
Okay. Well, moving on. Okay. Because Hondo Onaka is going to show up. I really want Hondo Onaka to show up. If you guys have seen Rebels and Clone Wars, Hondo
is legit like one of the best like original Clone Wars characters.
I don't think Hondo's going to show up.
I mean, you have Obi-Wan now in the underworld alone. how great will it be for
It
somebody
would
to
be
tell
pretty
Obi-Wan?
badass, I think.
How great will it be for somebody to tell Obi-Wan, so I know somebody, and then for him to go to meet that somebody and then go like, Kenobi! That would be so.
Kenobi!
And it's water. I'm a
Well, he never meets Watto, so
I know.
I'm pretty sure Vader killed Watto before this show.
Probably. I don't actually know
I
what the fuck
think it's
happened.
canon that Vader killed Watto before this show.
I need to look that story up. Anyway.
Sorry to disappoint, but I'm pretty sure of it.
if that's true, then that means he was on the same planet as his son and didn't realize his son was there, so that's a problem.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Anakin
wait,
was.
that's episode 2. There's so much I want to talk about in episode 2 that's like starting to segue from this, and I'm like, I can't talk about it till we get to episode 2.
Okay, let's finish this with the. I think Obi-Wan is such a sassy character
Oh yeah.
that we have to have a section of the favorite burn of each episode delivered by like anybody, because we have Obi-Wan and then we have Leia, who is arguably one of probably the most sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the first
It's-
episode that's like
It's
one.
the Owen Lars or the Owen Lars just 3-point shot from half court, just killed him.
I
Just
don't know.
absolutely murdered him.
Here's the thing though, Leia burned to his cousin in the first episode.
That's true.
It's there, like
It's good. It's good. It's good.
it's
Just killed him.
I mean-
Eviscerated his ass.
Hell of a thing taking a man's life.
Hell of a thing taking a man's life.
all right.
I would say episode 1 of the best pilots to a series ever. And I would say that this first episode sets the tone where if they can maintain this quality and this consistency through all the episodes, not only will this be by far the best show Star Wars has ever made, but there's a chance that this ranks at maybe being my favorite piece of Star Wars content ever made. Like,
I don't think
it's
that's
got
going
that
to
potential.
happen. I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to happen for me because Return of the Jedi is like
Sure, and like and again, Revenge of the Sith for me. But the thing is with Obi-Wan Kenobi is that Obi-Wan Kenobi takes everything, it takes right all the Revenge of the Sith things, and like if this was like if Return of the Jedi ended in a way where it like was open ended, where they could make an immediate continuation sequel, and it delivered like that, I don't know. I feel like that would probably do the same for you the way that it does for me. But
maybe, yeah, probably. I mean, it happened. I mean, I have 3 books that do exactly that.
I mean that's fair, and I'm sure those are like 3 of your favorite books ever, right?
Yep.
There you go. So like for me to have my favorite Star Wars movie like so deeply recognized and appreciated and understood just through the first 2 episodes alone, this is like already like ranking high for me.
All right, let's move on to the second episode then.
Kumail Nanjiani is so fucking good in this episode.
Well, I think like the best part about his character is that I think he kind of shows kind of what the world is like now on these different planets. Like, there's so many people who believe in the Jedi. You have people like him who impersonate them to try and get ahead.
Yeah.
While at the same time, they're not putting themselves at risk because they're not actually Jedi.
Mhm.
They're just portraying themselves as Jedi. So they're not a threat to the Empire. I mean, like, you kind of see that when Third Sister confronts him in the alleyway. Like, she easily chopped his ass in half.
Love that scene where he's like, "Oh, you've caught me. I am the Jedi you're looking for." And she's like, "Get the fuck out of my way!"
You know, but like,
It's so
like
good.
that's what I'm saying is that people like that will probably exist all over the galaxy because
Oh yeah,
they can be that symbol of hope for some people, but never pose a threat to the Empire because they're just common smugglers. They don't really piss anybody off.
right.
And
And, like,
honestly, I think he's not doing like a bad thing. I mean, he could probably
Yeah,
charge
that's a bad thing.
less, but I mean, he probably helped that family. So, like,
yeah,
I mean, in that world, you probably have to pay to get help.
Hmm.
So, like, I don't know. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, you're an asshole, but you're helping people by being an
right.
asshole.
And like the thing is, like even then, like when he goes to confront Third Sister, and be a distraction. It shows that he's a good person.
Yeah.
He's just Kumail, so he's like a little bit of a dick, and I love it. And like that's my favorite part is he's like where he's just like, oh, I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart. How much money do you have? And then just like uses the force, closes the windows, and it's the fucking magnets. It's like, how are you doing that? Do you have magnets? It's like so good. I love Kumail in this episode. He's my MVP of episode 2. I think he's so fun.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to. That's you're short like 2. It's just like so good.
Yeah, I think like that perfectly fits his brand of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like very sudden, like cutting left and right. But yeah, it's a great performance. I hope we see him again in a future episode.
I think we will because he has his own character poster, so I assume we'll see.
And
him
he's
more.
not dead, so yeah, probably.
Right.
If not,
whereas like Benny Safdie didn't get a character poster, and he's gone after the first episode. So like,
yeah.
I mean, he was drawn and quartered like a fucking.
Yeah. What a rip death though. Oof.
I honestly thought they hung him.
Yeah, me too. I was like, are they really gonna show this? But no, they just super glued him to the fucking,
I know.
way.
So let's talk about the name of the. What's the name of the planet? I don't remember the name of the planet.
It's Dia or something like that. It's like DIYUA. Dio, something like that. It definitely starts with a D.
It's a space Madripoor.
Yeah,
Space Madripoor.
Right? It's Madripoor, the one from the MCU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I kind of like that comparison.
I think it's
Dayu. It's Dayu. DAIYU.
It's basically Space Madripoor, even though I kind of am like starting to getting tired of smuggler planets. We have like a lot of those already.
Well, I mean, like here's like in this time of rebellion, most planets are smuggler planets.
Yeah.
Because like you see like the underbelly of a lot of these planets.
Yeah.
Have become that because of the Empire and the way they govern.
I guess you're right. I guess a lot of planets became smuggler
and like
planets.
Even like if you watch Clone Wars with the Republic, there are a lot of smuggler planets where like the underbelly of all the communities are based off that.
Yeah, and I think
I think like that kind of creates an interesting parallel between like the Republic and the Empire. I mean, you even hear one of Bale's senator friends saying in like on Alderaan, "Hey, the Empire is better than the Republic because I'm receiving kickbacks for everything I do." So the Empire is just the Republic, but with a little bit more corruption.
Yeah, and we should talk about the clone trooper.
Okay, yeah, let's
because when you look at his armor, that's a Vader's fist trooper. That's a 501st. That's a guy who shot up the Jedi Temple. Like that's one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of Anakin's fleet. He's wearing the blue striped Anakin armor.
Please tell me that I was not the only one. Is that Rex?
I did that too. I went, "Is that Rex?"
Thank you.
And then I was like, "Nah,
it's Tamara Morrison, so it's like all their
they all look the same to me. I don't know what to tell you.
Also, I hate that. But also, like, can we like give big ups to Tamara Morrison for like coming back to just film that, just to be there?
Yeah.
He probably has a standing contract with Lucasfilm now. It's like, hey, you need a live action clone, just hit me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's a great job. Like you are playing like thousands of people in a universe. You have a job. Like
in every show. Every single show that you're gonna find, whether it's we're making Mandalorian, so now we need Boba Fett, or it's like this is set, like we need a clone, we need a random clone just to show up and be a homeless man. Like, I love it. I love that inclusion and like all the subtlety of just looking at his armor and knowing exactly where he's from and who he is, and there's so much that by just looking at him that you can like infer and like imply about that clone, where like he's like got nothing, so he's clearly not working for the Empire, and he's clearly like you can see he's probably destroyed by what he did. like in order to
In
succeed.
the-
You can see like that in Obi-Wan's face, like that's kind of his way of like kind of absorbing his guilt. He couldn't save Anakin, so let me help out one of his clones who was left behind.
Yeah,
And
that too.
at first I was like, is he going to like fucking jump at the clone? Because Obi-Wan probably has some like saltiness towards clones right now
Probably
after
a little bit.
everything.
Yeah,
So-
but like when you think about
Or at
it,
least hesitation. Like
Yeah.
whenever he sees one.
well, when like hesitation on it, yeah, but like when you think about it, his situation in Order 66, he just escaped Utapau and then took the temple and didn't really confront another clone after that.
And killed a bunch of more clones. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you're right. Also, is he blind? Because my sister kind of said that he was blind, and I don't know if he was.
I don't know if that clone's blind or not. I would have to watch it again. But
Yeah, me too. But it didn't seem to me that he was blind. So yeah,
I'd also say the like we'll say my standout moment is the ending. It's the ending. It's
Okay.
it's the way that she's talking and then is like says the name Darth Vader and Obi-Wan just freezes. And she's like,
Yeah.
"You didn't know Anakin was alive, did you?" And like that moment where he's just like, "Fuck." He's like, "I fucked up or I am fucked." Either way.
Yeah,
He's
one
just
of the
like
two.
one of the two, probably simultaneously, where he's just like destroyed to know that he didn't kill Anakin. Like he like where he's like, by me not killing him, he's probably living in a much more painful existence, and he's causing so much harm. Which like that like brings up a weird point where it's like, how would he not know that Darth Vader's alive? 10
because
years later.
he went immediately to Tatooine. He's probably not in touch with anything that's happening in the galaxy.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just like, I feel like that would be like common knowledge where it's just like, yeah, look, the Emperor and then the guy who goes out and kills your ass if you're doing anything wrong is Darth Vader. Like,
Well, I don't know because I don't think Luke Skywalker didn't know who Darth Vader was.
really? I don't remember that.
I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi has to tell him about Darth Vader.
I guess. That's just a really weird, well-kept secret then where it's just like, I don't know why people wouldn't know who Darth Vader
And
is.
Owen didn't know. Owen doesn't know who Darth
Mhm.
Vader is.
Well, 'cause remember,
That's
Tatooine is like way in like the outer rim.
Well, it is the Outer Rim, so I feel like that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas
Luke
like
doesn't travel
everyone in Rebels knows who he is.
Oh yeah,
They fucking fight his ass and everything. So like,
Well, because like Lothal and all those planets are more
that's true.
inner.
yeah.
That's
In
true.
fact, the Empire cares about Lothal and about those planets, so it makes sense that
Mhm.
they would send Darth Vader there. While the Empire doesn't care about the Outer Rim planets unless there is a Jedi there that the Inquisitors have to hunt. So
Mm-hmm. And then even then they just drop the Inquisitors in and say go kill them.
yeah, so like it's not something
I
like
guess that's that. I guess I didn't really think about that, but yeah, that's that. Then just like the freaking pain in his face, and then the hard
that's a good
cut,
point.
then the hard cut to just the back to tank
I mean,
and the face. You're just
Well,
like,
I think them showing Vader makes me think that he's going to be a bigger part of this series than I think we're all thinking.
oh, I assume we're gonna get like an episode that's entirely Vader, like from his perspective, or not maybe entirely Vader, but entirely from the perspective of Vader.
that
Like
would be
I
so
feel like
cool.
that. I feel like that's what the next week's episode might even be.
But like I've been thinking a lot about why Vader kind of like wakes up at the end of that episode. Part of me thinks that he's going to be sent to go after the third sister for stabbing the Grand Inquisitor. I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I want to. You know what? I'm going to save this for like the last section of the episode that I want to do. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you with that. I think.
Oh, I'm sure we're gonna get like a third sister Darth Vader fight. It'll happen.
So. I mean,
It'll probably end up the same way the end of Jedi
I
Fallen
was.
And-
You know,
and-
I think that the third sister is being killed by Darth Vader. Like
Oh yeah.
that's like.
But I'm really interested to see like what her motive is behind what she's doing, because
Yeah.
she's a character that's really been shrouded in mystery well, and they've teased like why she's doing this, or like she says that she wants what she's owed. Like, not really sure what that is.
And that's the thing. Where is it something she's owed by Kenobi? Does she have a vendetta with Kenobi, or does she have or is she trying to prove herself to Vader? Like, what is the whole thing?
Part of me thinks that it's trying to prove herself to Vader by hunting down Kenobi.
We have too many people with a vendetta towards Kenobi already in that time period.
Well, they piss off a lot of people in the Clone Wars.
Listen, Darth Maul's already got his. All right, that's that happens in the.
Darth Maul's gonna get his in 7 years. Let's be honest.
Darth Maul is probably at that point he's probably running Crimson Dawn or something at that point.
Oh, for sure, right now he is. But I think it would be really, really rad. Like, if not for nothing, if there's just a post-credit scene on the last episode that is not a live action recreation of that scene, but a live action tease for that scene.
Yeah, like Obi-Wan, like Kenobi sensing Ezra, for example.
Yeah, something like that, where it's just like something like a tease, or even if Ewan McGregor doesn't appear in the post-credit scene at all, it's just Ray Park walking through the desert, and the tag of just 7 years later shows up on screen, and he just recreates the Kenobi.
That was going to be the title of the show, and I still want to call that. Okay. Anyway, so Koho, is Hondo Onaka in this episode?
No, but I think that he won't be in any of them.
Okay, well, we'll see. Favorite scenes of this episode? Koho, you start this time.
I mean, my favorite scene is the ending. It's the final confrontation with Third Sister, Grand Inquisitor, and Obi-Wan. That whole piece where she stabs Grand Inquisitor and reveals that Anakin's alive, and just that Ewan's performance in the ending of this episode, I think, is brilliant stuff. Where he's just frozen in fear and grief, like a wound just got ripped wide open again after healing. I think it's gonna be an incredible episode 3. I'm so this is the first time ever where a Disney Plus show has dropped, and I'm like, why didn't you just drop all of it? Just drop all of it. Just drop all of it. I want to watch all of it now.
I think my favorite scene was the struggle on his face when he uses the Force for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was man, we are talking about, and then we are going to go from that to these aren't the droids you're looking for, that. Something's going to happen that's going to bring back the spirit to the body of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, he's got to have that happen because we know he's gonna fight Vader. He's gonna fight Vader, and if he can't use the Force when he fights Vader, he's gotta make it to A New Hope. Okay, he can't die here, but he will if he can't use the Force when he fights Vader.
Yeah, I think for me, honestly, it might be the interaction between Leia and Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that Leia is just such this fiery spirit.
Yeah.
And, he's asking, are you a Jedi? How do I know that you're a Jedi? So you use the Force. How do I know you're actually a Jedi? He's just, playing with him, toying with him. And, you can see, the annoyance on his face, but at the same time, he's cherishing it. Because it reminds him of Padme and reminds him of Anakin as well.
Yeah, all of her barbs and all of her things feel very much like Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah, and it's nostalgia for him, and it's nostalgia for us too, because a lot of us who watch Clone Wars and all that, we've seen all the different conversations that those two have had, and for him to now be having a conversation like that with his daughter.
Yeah. And not only that, but I think it's also nostalgia for us in two ways. We have nostalgia for Clone Wars, and we have nostalgia for Leia, because we also love Leia. So but yeah, it's I also love the fact that even in that situation, we see that Leia is a spoiled princess.
Oh yeah.
Like, can I try this one? I'm like, Leia, you are being chased. I don't think you have time to stop to like try dresses right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need the gloves. And Obi-Wan is like, okay, fuck it. Just so I don't argue with her, I will buy her the fucking gloves. And she literally, she actively ignores him. He says like, you don't need those. She looks at him and then she just puts them on. Like, I don't care what you say. I think that's how I imagine Leia to be, honestly, like as a child.
I think this episode was kind of light on a lot of I think I love this episode. I think it's great, but I think compared to the last one, I think the last episode was like wall to wall stuff that I was absorbing. Whereas in this one, I was like, okay, all of this is important. It's moving the plot along, but a part of me was like, okay, I'm not like as in love with all right, I'm breaking in to get Leia out, and then we're gonna go, as much as anything in the first episode. But I still loved it. I thought this episode was great.
Yeah, I think
I'm so excited for what's next.
When it comes to Kenobi, I don't think we are here for the plot. We are here for the emotion, the emotional moments. And I think that the first episode gave us a lot more of that than the second one. That was a plot episode.
I think episode 2s of these kinds of series in general proved to be the weakest because they're the bridge between your intro from episode 1 and going forward, you're fully engulfed in the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
So these transitory episodes are generally the weakest. I would expect in 4 weeks when the series is done, I would expect this episode to be probably the weakest of the series. Yeah. But again, it's really good and provides a lot of really good nostalgia.
If this episode is the weakest of the series, I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah.
This
is the strongest, weakest episode in a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars show ever.
Fair. All right. I already forgot the sections of the last episode. I don't know. The line, the sickest burn. Okay, yeah. I know what mine is.
You go with yours because I don't know if I can even think. I mean, I think it's not even a burn, but Grand Inquisitor when she mentions Anakin is low-key a burn. The build up to that, she is you're a fucking failure, and it's oof. So
I really loved when Obi-Wan goes boy, that light must be unforgiving to Kumail Nanjiani's character when he's when he gives him the prizes and he was oh right, yeah. He reminded me for a second of Camino Obi-Wan, which is one of my favorite scenes.
That's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here.
I think my favorite burn is more of a physical burn. It's when Reva stabs the Inquisitors. Did you really think I would let you take all the credit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I guarantee you the next episode is going to give us an immediate answer about Grand Inquisitor because if the Grand Inquisitor died here,
he may not
all the Rebels fans will be pissed because they are the same character. It won't make any sense.
I mean, I honestly don't know if that's super they could not,
or maybe
it was
clones.
They did say. I mean, that's true. But the guy who played the part was no, I'm playing the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool if the Grand Inquisitor was just a role, and there are different clones for the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
cool.
But then guys, let's send a new one out there.
But then in Rebels, when he dies in Rebels, then in the next season, is it the ninth sister? The ninth sister says
I think it is. Yeah.
The ninth sister says that now a position has opened up. So I don't know how.
Who knows?
Yeah. That's the fun of it, speculation. I don't know. I mean, we know he has to show up in Rebels to be owned by Kanan again. So I don't know. I made a tweet about this the other day. Like, the Inquisitors, even if they feel, because Riva is so fucking badass, but even if she is badass, I don't want her to fight Obi-Wan because
I
I
don't think she will.
because I feel like if she fights Obi-Wan, she has to lose badly. Like, she cannot be a problem for Obi-Wan Kenobi, no matter how rusty he is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's, I think they are doing a great job with her being intimidating to like other people who an Inquisitor will be a threat to, but I don't think she can be a physical threat to
I
Kenobi.
think the only person that she'll fight is probably Vader, or the fifth brother.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I kind of want to see her fight, so I'm like in the middle, like.
Fair.
All right. Now I want to introduce a question that I think we will answer at the end of the show. Do you think Kenobi is good with kids? Yes or no?
Well, I think this episode was evident that he's not.
Yeah.
He's not good with. And honestly, I kind of want to see now, like, how he was with kid Anakin when he was raising him. Because I don't know, man. Like, that Anakin.
Well, I don't think we need to see that because he's Darth Vader. So we know how that turned out.
Yeah. So, like, I don't think
it's very evident he was a bad dad.
He wasn't a dad. He was more of an older brother, and that was the
problem. Still bad paternal-ish figure.
I think one of my favorite interactions with Leia and Obi-Wan is when he was like, you make sure that droid doesn't make any noise, and she was like, she won't, she's hurt, and he was like, good.
Come
on, man.
We're just like, oh, perfect. And you're like, Jesus, dude, relax. Droids are people too. We learned that.
Yeah. So we forgot to, I think we are like in around an hour now. So let's make predictions for next episode. Like one thing you either want to or think will happen in the next episode.
See, I'm very certain we're going to get an answer about the Grand Inquisitor next episode. And I'm also very certain that we're going to see a lot of Darth Vader next week.
Okay.
I agree. I think Vader is going to be sent on a mission to hunt down Reva after she goes rogue and stabs the Grand Inquisitor. But on the way, at the end of the episode, he will hear about Obi-Wan. And now he will become fixated on Obi-Wan.
I do have one question real quick before we finish predictions. We know Hayden's in the suit playing the part. It's got to be James Earl Jones doing the voice, though, right?
Nobody knows. No one knows.
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
Because if Hayden Christensen does the voice in this show, I'm gonna have a mixed feeling about it. I'm gonna be like, because I have no issue with it. I'll be like very happy for him that he's doing it, but I'll also be very off-put by it not being James Earl Jones's voice. So like, part of me thinks that he's gonna get to talk when he's not in the suit, and we're gonna get to see Hayden act outside the suit a little bit. And when he's in the suit, it's got to be James Earl Jones's voice. I don't really, because James Earl Jones did even like Revenge of the Sith and all of it. Like anytime Vader's needed, he shows up in a voice booth and just drops like a hot 16 on the voice of Darth Vader. And like, yeah,
I am going to go super wild. Like you guys made like probably
Hondo is gonna show up and marry Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, I'm going to go wild because I am not going to predict Hondo because I want to like do the this section. No, I think we are going to get a Grand Moff Tarkin appearance.
I don't know if we will or not. That'd be kind of cool. Do you think they get the guy from Rogue One to come back?
Guy Henry? I don't know.
Yeah, get Guy Henry in and CGI him up again.
I don't know. I mean, they
make him. Hey, listen, the Tarkin in Rogue One and the Luke on Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian, comparable jobs in visual effects. Just saying.
I think the look in Boba Fett looked good. Like,
I can't get past the dead fish eyes.
okay. So, Koho, how would you rank the first episode?
The first episode, top tier, top of the line. I'd give it 10 out of 10. I think it's a 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5.
Thomas?
First episode, I'd say like 9 out of 10. Definitely very, very good.
I think I'm like now 9 out of 10 as well. I don't think it's perfect, but yeah, I think 9 out of 10 is great. And the second one, I will give it like an 8, 7.5, 8 out of 10 maybe.
I go 8.5, 9.
I go 8.5.
Okay. All right, so guys, this was Kenobi Talks. So we will be here the same day at the same time to review episode 3 of it's called Kenobi there, right?
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi actually. Okay, I don't know.
I don't know why they didn't just call it Kenobi. But,
well, the episode 3
what they really should have done is call the series Ben and use the song written by Michael Jackson about a rat.
Stop it.
And on that note, we are going to say goodbye to you guys and thank you for watching.
Goodbye there.
Yeah, goodbye there.